What's up, YouTube? This is Mathos97, and welcome to episode number 30 of my WWE 2K15 Universe Mode. We're still on the road to WrestleMania, and this time we've got another edition of main events. So, without any further delay, let's take a look at this match card. And what a match we're going to kick this one off with. Paige, one-on-one with AJ Lee. And following that matchup, we'll have a tag team match between Los Matadores and the team of Rey Mysterio and Sin Cara. Tamina Snuka will go one-on-one with Naomi. So yet another Divas bout on the card here. Tamina and Paige both rising through the ranks in the Divas division. Bo Dallas goes one-on-one with Heath Slater. The one-man Southern Rock Band is back in Universe Mode. And Titus O'Neil will go one-on-one with Kofi Kingston of the New Day. So, it's going to be interesting to see how that one plays out. Bo Dallas gets the win over Heath Slater. And in the tag team matchup, it is Rey Mysterio and Sin Cara getting the win over Los Matadores. So, let's move on to the very first matchup, as we're here in Nashville, Tennessee. And, you know, although Nashville may have had a bit of a lackluster crowd reaction to the Fastlane pay-per-view, hopefully tonight Nashville can be pretty involved, as we've got a great card for them tonight. I mean, starting off with some great women's wrestling, as we've got Paige one-on-one with AJ Lee. I mean, this is probably one of the best matchups you can get in the Divas division, and here it is on main events, as both of these two Divas trying to make a name for themselves, try to get into the Divas Championship picture. AJ Lee, of course, competed in the triple threat match at Elimination Chamber for the Divas title, but of course, she did not get the victory, although she was not pinned either, as it was Brie Bella who rolled up Summer Rae after hitting a Bella Buster on AJ Lee to score the win. And that just shows that AJ does not have the best of luck in triple threat matches. I mean, whether it's Over the Limit, where she was against Beth Phoenix and Karma, whether it's Night of Champions against Natalya and Caitlyn, and now at Elimination Chamber against Summer Rae and Brie Bella, AJ has lost every single triple threat Divas Championship matchup she's competed in on pay-per-view, and the trend continues. So AJ once again fails to make her way into the Divas Championship picture, but right now she has a good opportunity to try to get herself back in the hunt if she can beat Paige here tonight. But on the other hand, Paige, she's really been rising through the ranks lately. I mean, she's picked up victories over Cameron. She's got a victory over Nikki Bella. And she's also got a win over... who was it? I don't remember, but I believe she's 3-0, if I recall correctly. At the same time, I think Tamina Snuka is 3-0, or maybe they're both 2-0. But they both are undefeated right now, and they're both, you know, they're making a good impression for themselves. As German suplex there by Paige. How often do you see a diva do a German suplex? And, you know, I could use this video as a chance to rant about the WWE Divas division and how things have been booked, but I'm not going to do that because that doesn't matter here in Universe Mode. Here in Universe Mode, we have the talent, and we are going to use it to its potential. And as we can see right now, Paige and AJ, I mean, what a great way to kick off episode 30 of WWE 2K15 Universe Mode. As yes, this will be a bit more of a diva-focused episode, as I do, like I said, I want this year to finally be the year where I put more emphasis on the Divas division. I mean, not to say that I don't put any sort of emphasis on the Divas division, but this year I want it to be the year where the Divas, they can get an opportunity to break out and actually become a major talking point for Universe Mode. So, I mean, you know, it's also up to them as well to put on stellar matches that can, you know, entice the viewers, try to get them on the Divas side. Because, I mean, also at the same time, the way things have been booked, you know, fans aren't quite as, you know, they're not quite as invested in some of the Divas characters like they have been in the past with, you know, with women's wrestlers like Lita, Trish, and of course many others. Those, of course, are the two stereotypical ones to mention because they're the most notable. And hopefully, you never know, maybe Paige and AJ could be the next Trish and Lita of Universe Mode. I mean, of course, AJ, she competed in Lita's last match in Universe Mode, and that was very back and forth. But in the end, it was Lita who scored the victory. And then, of course, you know, there was a lot of respect between those two women. And in fact, Lita chose AJ to be her last match in Universe Mode. She chose AJ to be her final opponent. And even though AJ lost, she was still very impressive in that matchup. But right now, let's focus back in on the action at hand. As Paige off that knee lift takes AJ down. And now look at Paige. Paige Turner! She hits the Paige Turner, and that could do it. She could put AJ away right here. And no, AJ kicks out at 2.5. And Paige is looking a bit frustrated right now, but wasting no time whatsoever. She's looking to put AJ down and out right now. Oh, and what a way to do it. She's going for that cradle DDT, the Rampage! And she hits it. And that very well could put AJ out for good. But no, Paige, that's a bit of a rookie mistake. She was unaware of her presence in the ring, and AJ, she was able to make a veteran move right there to grab the ropes and force the rope break, which kept AJ alive in this matchup. Otherwise, Paige may have got the victory right there, but look at this. AJ wasting little time, capitalizing on Paige's moment of disarray, and hits that maneuver. She goes for the cover. No, but Paige kicks out before even a 2 count. I mean, wow, just what an impressive move there by Paige. And now look at AJ. AJ's got the Black Widow locked in. The Black Widow submission hold is locked in on Paige, and Paige may be forced to tap out here. And AJ's got it locked in good, but Paige just manages to slip out of it. And AJ was forced to break the hold. And now, I'm amazed Paige managed to survive the Black Widow here. And now, pendulum backbreaker. Right there to AJ Lee. Goes for a cover. That could be it. 1, 2, 3. No, AJ kicks out. Almost, you know, she almost got pinned there. Wow. What a matchup to kick off main event here this episode. Paige and AJ putting it all on the line right now. And look at Paige. She's going to deliver another backbreaker to AJ. And AJ right now, she's in a lot of trouble. Paige has got the clear upper hand right now. And I think these two are just one finisher, one signature away from putting each other away. May not even have to be a finisher or a signature. Just anything, any high impact move, I think, is going to end the matchup. This is a cover by Paige once again. 2 count. And again, AJ kicks out at 2. But it's going to be interesting to see how Naomi and Tamina Snuka follow this matchup up. As Paige delivers another backbreaker. And man, AJ is just getting broken in half right now by Paige. And now a drop kick to the back. AJ's in trouble right now. Paige is just dominating AJ right now. And now look at this. Oh, slams AJ back of the head off the mat. And Paige, she's going to crawl into the cover. That's a 2 counts. And again, AJ kicks out at the last second. What is it going to take to put AJ away? This Paige right now, counter by AJ, delivers a nice forearm to the face, and look at this, Hurricanrana by AJ, sending Paige flying. I mean, AJ right now, she's got to take this opportunity. She's taking a lot of punishment from Paige right now, so AJ, it's her turn to go on the assault and try to put Paige away here. Because I mean, Paige did not compete at the Elimination Chamber, so I think the longer this matchup goes, the more it's going to favor Paige, because she has had, I mean, AJ has only had 2 days to recover from the triple threat matchup. And now look at Paige. Paige, she's looking to put AJ away right here with a second Paige Turner. And that could be it. 1, 2, 3, and Paige scores the victory over AJ. And it did turn out that Paige Turner was the final chapter in this matchup. So Paige, man, what a victory. What a match that was between these two divas. Is right there we saw AJ kicked out of the first Paige Turner. And then the Rampage here, but Paige, she didn't take AJ away from the ropes. And that allowed AJ to lock in the Black Widow here. And I thought that Black Widow might have been it, but somehow Paige managed to slip out of it. And then the second Paige Turner after all the damage done. I mean, it was really just the final nail in AJ's coffin. And Paige gets an emphatic victory here tonight. I think Paige could very well be, you know, she's on the cusp of becoming the next #1 contender for the Divas Championship. But now it's time to see if Tamina and Naomi can outdo that matchup between Paige. There we go. Can they outdo the match between Paige? Anyway, so let's Anyway. Oh, wow. I'm surprised that I made that blunder. Anyway, that's Botchamania for you. If there was like a Universe Mode Botchamania, that would be on it right there, that moment. But anyway, let's focus on the match at hand now. It's coming down to the ring, one half of the Funkadactyls, and one of the other newer divas in the division, it's Naomi, has really, ever since, after WWE 2K14, when we made the switch over to 2K15, a lot of the divas we had left the company. I mean, their contracts expired or they suffered injuries. Whatever happened, I mean, the divas division really took a huge blow. And really, the only ones remaining who were in the last season of Universe Mode were the Bella Twins, Natalya, AJ, and Summer Rae. And then, I mean, that's a very slim talent pool. So then now we've got the Funkadactyls, we've got Tamina, we've got Paige, and we've got... Actually, that's it. That's it. And then, of course, we are going to have Emma at some point, although she's yet to make her debut. I don't know. I'm not really all that happy with how the DLC was kind of managed this year. I mean, I'm sure it took a lot of time to, make everything. I do like how there were showcase DLCs. I thought that was really cool that they were able to, because I mean, normally we'll get superstars, we'll get moves, we'll get arenas or what have you. But this year they actually kind of incorporated it into a mode where you could actually kind of apply that. Whereas, in previous games, we would just kind of get extra superstars. And it was kind of like, well, if you have them, can't you just put them in the game? But this year, they kind of gave it, I think, they gave the DLC a bit more purpose. And, I don't know. Speaking of showcase mode, thinking about WWE 2K16, I'd imagine there's going to be another showcase mode. There's going to be a showcase mode 2.0. That's just what I would think. I mean, 2K has their base for a game, so I think they're going to stick to it at least for the next year's game. And they got to focus in really on bringing the Creation Suite back to its former glory. And they got to focus on improving that. So I would think there's going to be another showcase mode this year. And I personally would like to see an NXT showcase mode, because then it gives them an opportunity to expand on the NXT superstars they brought into the game this year. And while, a lot of people say they don't like showcase mode, I'm sure there are people out there who do, maybe more casual WWE gamers who would probably play the showcase mode. But then also you can kind of play to that fan base, and at the same time, there are a lot of people who want it like an NXT roster, so you could kind of put them both in one, and I think that could be a cool opportunity. You could focus on superstars like Sami Zayn, Adrian Neville, Kevin Owens, Finn Balor, I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce it. I know everyone just says Finn Balor, although that doesn't, I don't know, just seeing the spelling, I feel like it'd be pronounced differently. But then also like Hideo Itami, The Ascension, maybe even Corey Graves. I want Corey Graves to be in the next game because he got injured and he can't compete anymore, and I didn't even really get to see some of his best stuff. Although I guess I could watch some independent wrestling, but I don't know, I'm too lazy to do that. But I mean, I don't know, when I started watching NXT, which was of course around Arrival, Corey Graves got into that feud with Sami Zayn, and then Corey Graves just kind of disappeared with the injury. But I think it'd be kind of cool because of that injury, if Corey Graves could be kind of a featured character in Showcase Mode next year. You could focus in on Graves' rivalry with Neville, maybe even Graves' rivalry with Sami Zayn. I don't know, there's so many possibilities that you could do with that. Especially with Sami Zayn. As we can see right now, I'm sorry, I wasn't even focused on the matchup, but Tamina scores a victory over Naomi, and that wasn't as much of a back and forth matchup as the first one we saw. That was more just pure domination by Tamina there. But as I was saying about Showcase, I think really one of the main focal points would probably be the Zayn-Neville feud, but maybe you could even do, really if you focused in on Adrian Neville, if you focused in on Sami Zayn, I think that'd be two key points. Definitely the Zayn-Neville feud I could see probably being one. You could always do, I don't know exactly what the cutoff point for that sort of thing would be. They probably wouldn't get to, if you're talking about just Showcase Mode, they probably would not get to Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. I think if you're going to have Showcase, you end it with Sami Zayn beating Adrian Neville at NXT TakeOver, or Evolution, I think it was. I think that was the TakeOver. So, I mean, that's where I personally would end it, and you could always start way back when. You could include Sami Zayn's matches with Cesaro. You could include Adrian Neville's matches with Bo Dallas, maybe even Corey Graves. I don't know exactly how they would do it, but I really think that could make for a cool showcase mode. I mean, now the whole showcase mode doesn't have to be NXT. They could do kind of what they did this year, where they had the John Cena CM Punk rivalry, and then they had more of an attitude, or not attitude. They had a ruthless aggression one between Michaels and Triple H, and then how they're gonna have Path of the Warrior, Hall of Pain, one more match, and then if you could kind of like you could have maybe like the Zayn Neville one. That would make for a good showcase. I don't know. You could always have a ruthless aggression one in there. Not an Attitude Era. I really don't want to see an Attitude Era thing in there because that has been done so many times before in WWE games, whether it's the Attitude Era mode, whether it's 30 years of WrestleMania. I mean, you could probably explore maybe like a WCW thing. You could have like Sting and Ric Flair or something. That might be cool. Maybe focus on more of the WCW aspect of the Attitude Era. So like maybe Sting versus Hulk Hogan, or Diamond Dallas Page and like Randy Savage or something like that. I don't know, just something a bit more like vintage, something we haven't seen before in a WWE game. But anyway, I think I've talked enough about Showcase Mode. But that is something I'd really like to see, if we could have like Zayn and Neville as an NXT thing. And then of course, even if they don't do an NXT Showcase Mode, I still think at the very least we should get the same NXT superstars who we got in this year's game. But if not, I mean, I personally would like to see as many NXT superstars we can get in there as possible. Apparently, Sasha Banks was face scanned for WWE 2K15. I hope that's true. She said on Twitter she was scanned, but I don't know. I feel like you always have to take those sort of things with a grain of salt until it's officially announced. Because you could get somebody like, who was it? Psycho Sid or whatever. He was like playing off of Sting's announcement, and there were a couple other people who were, but it wasn't true. So I mean, I don't know, I feel like you kind of got to take those sort of things with a grain of salt. But if we could get like Charlotte, Sasha Banks, Bayley, maybe even Becky Lynch, I don't know, depending on who all they want to focus on, if we could get some more NXT talent in the game, I feel like that would only benefit the game, rather than focus on like what they did in 30 years of WrestleMania and Attitude Era, where half the roster was like older superstars or just a ton of extra models. At least this year when they did the game, at most there would be like 2 or 3 models. Most of that was because of the DLC, but I mean, when you take a look at Triple H, I mean, he's got his short-haired version, and then he's got all the long-haired attires from the Showcase DLC, or not DLC, the Showcase Mode. I think that was a better way to kind of go about it. It did lower the roster amount, but I only think that's better, because that really, if you're gonna, I mean, it's kind of like when you have like filler episodes in some sort of TV show or anime or whatever, where it's like, why would you have 115 superstars on a roster when you could accomplish the same amount with like 95 superstars or something like that? It's all like extra models, but Kofi hits the crossbody on Titus O'Neil there, and Titus kicks out in the last second. But I'm getting a little too caught up in 2K16, but yeah, I mean, if you could kind of focus more on... I lost my train of thought, I'm sorry. So I'm just going to talk about the match now. But yeah, you get my point. You understand what I was trying to say. But anyways, we can see Kofi Kingston delivers a kick to the back of Titus O'Neil there. And Titus O'Neil, he's coming off the victory over Darren Young on the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. So Titus O'Neil, he's got the momentum on his side right now. Titus O'Neil maybe could be a potential challenger for the Intercontinental Championship. We did see Ryback. He defeated Cody Rhodes at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, so we are going to need someone else to step up. As Kofi Kingston manages to kick out of that power slam there to count of 2.5. And then, of course, Kofi Kingston, he was on the losing end of a tag team match against Awesome Truth, along with Big E. So, I mean, Kofi Kingston, his career in Universe Mode has been very lackluster. And, you know, right now the New Day is just really struggling. I wouldn't say Xavier Woods. Xavier Woods in singles competition he's actually been able to hold his own. But for some reason, Kofi it's in a situation like this, where Kofi just got pinned by Titus O'Neil, Kofi and Big E have been struggling in their singles career. Not to say they can't put on very competitive back-and-forth matches, but they just haven't exactly been able to, you know, win in the clutch moments where, like Kofi, he had the U.S. title opportunity at No Way Out. He didn't win. Big E's had a couple of shots at the U.S. title, and he hasn't won. So, I mean, they're both kind of in the same boat where they really just have struggled to get going in Universe Mode. So, hopefully, for their sake, unifying as a tag team can kind of work together at some point in the future. But for now, it's another loss for Kofi Kingston, and it's another loss for the New Day as Titus O'Neil gets another win in his corner. And, you know, Titus O'Neil, he's on a roll right now. Since beating Darren Young at the Elimination Chamber, Titus could be the next #1 contender for the Intercontinental Championship. But that's it for this episode. I want to thank you all for watching, and until next time, keep on YouTubing.